Hey, what's going on? I want to tell you a bit about this little game I've been working on. I've been working on it on and off over the past few years, in between my day job, weekends, evenings, It's a shmup in the style of the old arcade shmups. It's not top down or side scrolling like traditional games. The camera's off to the side, but it's got an orthographic style projection, and you're moving diagonally across the screen. The enemies are coming diagonally down towards you. You can only strafe left and right. It's set in space, and you're obviously fighting an enemy fleet. The premise is that you're sort of taking in the back route, so you're going to destroy the mothership or the enemy fleet. You've got this payload you're transporting, this big bomb. The bomb can take damage from enemies crashing into it if you miss them, so it can blow up. While you're going along, you're collecting loot as you're killing them, and it's healing your ship and the bomb behind you. So it's like a fine balancing act. So there's a big long level, and then you have a boss encounter. There's a little cutscene, a boss encounter, then a final cutscene. And after that, you unlock the ability to generate random levels and just play indefinitely. I put some unlockables in there just so I could learn how to do them. This game was mainly a project that I come up with purely as practice, keep my C# skills good while because my day job actually is predominantly Python based. I do deep learning, computer vision, stuff like that. I'm moving into blockchain now, so I'm picking up more C++, and I want to move into Unreal down the road. I've got a few other games I want to make, but more about that later on down the line. For now, understand that this is just a project that I came up with, and I sort of selected the features that were going to be in the game on purpose to teach me certain things. So I've got an upgrade store. It's not designed to be like microtransactions and pay to play and all that kind of stuff. You can obtain everything by playing the game. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be stressful. The key point of this project was for me to learn how to develop something that's fun. And the reason I chose the mobile platform is because you have to give the player a satisfactory experience within 5 to 10 minutes. It's very casual gaming. So that was a challenge for me, and I wanted to learn how to overcome that and understand the process in finding and cultivating game feel. It's very elusive, the idea of game feel, and yet it's so crucial. So that was my main objective, and the challenge with the Android platform and putting ads into it. There'll be banner ads, stuff like that, purely for the sake, once again, of me learning how to do it. So it's a cool little game. It's fun. I enjoy playing it. Quite a lot of the time when I play test it, I get stuck just playing it, and I'm forgetting that I'm actually supposed to be testing it. So that's good. It's good to make games that you enjoy playing, because then there's a bit of personal investment in there, and I think it gives the game your sort of quirkiness, your own little character, little touch of you in there. I've made the entire game myself. I've done all the graphics myself. I could have bought models online and used them, or got someone else to do it, but I wanted it to be more of an artistic product, So for me, games are art. There is expression in there, and I wanted to do everything myself for that reason. I'm not a sound guy. I've not been educated in sound. I've never had a knack for sound. As much as I love music, I don't know how to make any of it, so that's going to be interesting. I've left that till last. In terms of the 3D graphics and animation, I did a master's degree in 3D and animation at university, and my bachelor's degree was in game technology. So I studied game dev, but when I left uni, I got a job in software development in AI. I didn't like the idea of working for a games company and them owning all my ideas, these non-compete agreements that most of them have, almost all of them. I understand they've got to protect their intellectual property, and it becomes very difficult to say whether your idea is genuine or not when you're subjected to someone else's content all day. How do you say whether it influenced you or not? It's very tricky. So I understand they got to protect their business. I get it. But I really felt strongly about game design being a passion of mine. It's a personal thing, and I have many, many ideas, and really they're the things I want to make. I'm not that interested on like spending a lifetime in a career working on some AAA title somewhere that's not really my thing, or, much more interested in indie development at this stage. And with my newfound interest in blockchain technology, I'm probably going to combine the two and do some blockchain, Web3 games and stuff like that. So we'll see what comes out of that down the line as well. Anyway, the graphics I really enjoyed doing. I've got a bit more to do. What I'm going to do after I've finished this is I will put the code base up on GitHub and make it public. I'll do a few videos breaking down how I overcome some issues, some scripts and whatnot. I haven't really got time to do like tutorials right now or anything. I might do tutorials in the future. I didn't really have a plan of being some YouTuber or whatever. I'm into photography and film and all that kind of stuff. So it ties in with it. This is something I just enjoyed doing. It might turn into that, I don't know. But at the moment, I do have my work to do as well as my game design and development. So we'll see what comes of it. But for now, I'm going to cut to showing you my scrapbook, my preliminary designs, all the working out I did, what it takes to get to the point of before you even start making the game. Very, very important. When I was at university, I do a lot. I draw a lot of stuff. I sketch out ideas. I've got notepads full of ideas. And my lecturer at the time said to me that I need to hand these in when I hand in my final project, because it's like really valuable, really proper game design. And I said to him, but isn't everybody doing this? And he said, no, you'd be surprised how many people either don't know how to do this, they don't think to do this, it's just not part of their, strategy. And most people were simply reproducing games that they enjoyed playing. They were just like, oh, I want to make a game like that game or a game like that game. There was no originality. And in fact, I really came into my own at uni when we did the final year. We did like a work simulation and simulating a work environment. Like it was creation studio module or something. They got people who were doing art degrees to come in with us. So we had artists and we were in dev teams, and I was nominated as producer both times. And the game that I designed the game, and obviously everybody else worked on it and did all the work, but I had to design it and manage everyone. I designed all the levels and the mechanics, and I helped out with a bit of code here, with a bit of graphics there. I helped out where I could. I really enjoyed that. And both games came out top of the class. They were very, very cool. One was an Android game. It was like a heist game called Drone Dash. I think there's other games out there called Drone Dash. So I don't think we could ever use that name if we developed it, but it was really cool, quirky, hand-drawn drawings, textures, 2D, 3D, was it 2.5D mix? So you had like cross sections of houses and you had to control the drone and steal objects and things. Kept it humorous and a bit cool, cartoony. And the other one was a PlayStation VR game where you wake up in this tank, and it's sort of an alternate World War II scenario where aliens invaded in the middle of the war. So everything was different. There were aliens and Nazis and all these things anyway. That was cool. But yeah, so I know that I'm really into the actual design of games and coming up with ideas. Anyway, I'm blabbing. I'm going to now show you the sketchbook as I promised like 10 minutes ago, and I'm going to then show you a little bit up. Well, I'm going to show you where I'm up to in the actual development stage. Yeah, let's crack on. Well, I'm just going to quickly go over my sketchbooks here. It's just me making preliminary notes and drawings and things, working out how things are going to react, how the game's going to play, ideas for enemies and mechanics. And, this is a really crucial part of game design, because you have a much better idea of what you're doing. You're fleshing out the ideas. Once you put them on paper, sometimes you can see that your ideas are ridiculous. They sound silly. They're not practical. So I'm working out collectibles, bosses, enemy types, obstacles. Working out chain scores, chain kills and all that kind of stuff. A lot of this stuff never made it into the game. Brain bottleneck, this is important. 7 plus or minus 2 mental processes one can hold at once. So a person could only hold 7 plus or minus 2 mental processes at one time. So you want to keep the player's workload to a limit of 5 to ensure a non-frustrating experience. And I was trying to break this down. So enemy location, that's 1. Projectiles, movement and pickups, that's 3. So you've already got 4 there. So 2 to 4 maximum enemy types following unique paths. That's just that bit. You've also got other stuff to factor in, your health, time if you've got a timer. So you've got to list all the things, and then that's a load in your player's brain that they have to hold and keep track of. You want to minimize the amount of things they have to keep track of, to keep them under 7, ideally around 5 simultaneous things to hold in memory at any given time. To make the score and salvage, which is basically the loot drops, to feel engaging, it will be spawned on screen en masse but automatically absorbed toward the player within a large radius, so it feels like you're constantly getting things. It's not costing you energy to get things. You don't have to collect them, you're not going to miss them, they're drawn towards you. Feels like constant progress. These were the original enemy classes, their HPs and all this sort of stuff. This all changed. I simplified everything because it's a mobile game. I simplified everything down. Yep, I've got different armors, and it was far too much, for the game I was making. Mob formations, all these things ended up changing. So you can see the amount of preliminary sketching and planning that goes into these things. Boss doodles, different bosses, organic type bosses, mechanical bosses, how they move, their firing patterns. It looks like a mess to you now on the screen, but it makes sense to me. Again, that one looks like an absolute mess, but it makes sense to me. And here we are again. This is in 2019, so it's taken me a long time planning. This is a timeline. I'm trying to optimize what you see when, and how long the game takes to play, how long it takes to get satisfaction, the feedback loop. And now I'm starting to move into planning classes, the game manager, how the game manager is going to function, the boss setup, the level. This is the beginning of the level generator. And now I'm doing some doodles for the enemies. These are the original enemy designs. The player's spaceship, that was the first time I doodled it. Yeah, again, obstacle grid spawn system. So this is me working out the spawn system. The level generator again, it goes on and on and on. The enemies, out obstacles, collectibles now, getting more detailed, whittling it down, trimming the fat as we go along, working some pseudocode there. Yeah, here's another thing I wanted to show you. It might be a bit difficult to see because it's all in pencil and it's been rubbed off a bit over time, but this was 2020. This is me drawing out in a little bit more detail, even though you can't see it now, the enemy objects and obstacles, and writing down little details of them. This is just brainstorming. This is what it looks like. This is a very important part of the process. And yeah, that's that. Now I'm going to skip into showing you a little bit of the game in development as it stands now. It's taken me a while just to make this video, so there's going to be quite a lot to show you. Right, so this is the project in Unity. Quick look at where we're up to. It's quite a lot for me to finish off. Right, so this is the main game here. Got the main menu. Bang on the campaign mode. And we're away. So this is how you start. You've got really low health. The bomb's got low health. At the beginning, the laser cannon that's coming down the screen there, if it hits you, you're dead because of the amount of HP it takes. Oh, there, I just got killed. Now, I've gone the Dark Souls route and dropped half your loot when you die. None of this has been sorted out yet, but you then play again and you can pick up your loot. You'll see the little green bar that comes down. That's your dropped resources, so you can pick them up again. That way, even though it's quite difficult at first, it'll be hard for some people. They'll be able to quickly upgrade, and you can choose between, your health or a new weapon, stuff like that. Now, when you first play this and you haven't purchased a weapon upgrade yet, this is what will happen when you randomly pick up a weapon from a loot box. It will generate a random number between the range of weapons there are, and it will pick a weapon, equip it for a certain amount of time, and then it will stop. You'll go back to normal weapon mode, your default weapon, and there's a cooldown timer between then and when you can pick up another weapon. I'm dead. The upgrade menu's pretty barren at the moment. These are going to be little thumbnail videos to show you what each weapon does. primary and secondary weapon, your thruster speed, there'll be a little video of it or an image, and armor for yourself and the bombs. So if I just upgrade those, let's just put the multi-cannon on for now. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a bit more armor, we've got the multi-cannon, and you'll notice now the game is going faster. So the more powerful your weapon is, the faster the level goes by, so that eventually, once you're fully kitted out, you get to a point where you just zip through the level, and the only way you can mess it up is, the difficulty is that as faster it gets, the harder it is to see where the laser cannon is and get caught out by it. So it becomes more of a challenge of dodging, knowing the pattern of the laser cannon, than it does worrying about any of the obstacles coming at you, because you're so well equipped that you're just going to cut through it all anyway. So this level's quite long. I've got to tune it a little bit because yeah, there's things to change. And then at the end of it, you have a boss fight. There's a little cutscene, and then there's a boss fight. Let's see if I can at least get past this for the demo. There's no sound effects yet. I haven't got to the sound effects stage. I've been leaving it and leaving and leaving it. I'm not really trained and educated in sound, but I will think of something. So yeah, those little chaos orbs there, they help you clear spaces. So you want to aim for the bombs. I've still got to tweak how that's what I've got to tweak with the level, is the amount of chaos bombs and how much damage they really do to their surrounding counterparts and whatnot. There's the little swarm. I had the swarm attack. I've got a version of this swarm that attacks, but I really didn't like it. It was too much going on the screen, and it kind of ruined the aesthetic. You couldn't really see the enemy anymore, so it was just loads of ammo going everywhere because they're spinning and they're rotating, so it was just going off all over the place. So I didn't bother with that. Let's give up for now, and I'm going to show you these are all the destroyed versions of each object here. All their little parts there. Anyway, scenes. This is the cutscene that I've got set up. I made a little camera system here, cutscene controller script. So I've got cameras, and I've got the times, how many seconds basically in between each cut. And the same goes for object switching. So basically I have two models of the boss. One of them has a shell on it that needs to explode, sort of be detached, and it all opens up. So I've got two different versions of it, and it switches them in the cuts, so you can't tell, it just switches the model. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Obviously this is targeted at Android, so everything's very low poly. Need to fix the animation here, there, that bit needs fixing. That's where it switches the model so that it can start firing and doing all these animations. Pretty happy with that, it's cool. And it cuts to the boss battle, and there you are, getting done in by the boss. Now you're constantly receiving health. I think God mode is enabled. Yeah. Oh well. You can see the loot coming out of the boss here. Now you've got the arms can be destroyed. They need to be killed because when you kill them, they also do damage to the main body. By the time you fight the boss, you should really have all the the heavy weapons upgraded and all that sort of stuff, you wouldn't be fighting the boss with this weapon. It's kind of useless. But you're constantly receiving loot from hitting the boss and its parts, purely because it does so much damage to you and the bomb behind you that you need constant heals. And the idea is really you want to obliterate this early. You don't want to be longing out the battle, because after a certain amount of time, doesn't matter what weapon you've got or how much life you've got, the bullet pattern of the boss becomes such that you can't survive it. So, and you've got the boss's health there. I haven't done the boss's picture there yet, the icon. But yeah, lots of tweaking to do. Still lots of tweaking to do here as well. These bullets would normally be hitting and being destroyed, but in God mode they don't collide. So yeah, that's lots of tweaking to do. Still play testing it. And other than that, you will simply be able to play you'll be able to do random level generator, and that's pretty much it. Where have I got the level? So this is what the actual level looks like. Open it. Yeah, this is the level. That's the layout of the level. And what it does, it's a very simple color to prefab script. And that's what it does. It takes in this PNG and it goes through it pixel by pixel. Each one of these is a pixel. Just little squares. And it just spawns the prefabs that I've assigned to that color code. So yeah, I've got to edit the levels. Pretty long. It's pretty long, and the ending all needs changing, but you know, it's there. And this is the color palette. This is the only this is it. That's the entire that's the only texture in the game, aside from textures that I've had to create for like VFX and stuff, like, you know, lasers and that, and the laser beam. That's it. Other than that, this is the only texture for all the objects, everything, all the models, all their UV maps. Just use that as the texture. So yeah, I believe it's the Sega Master System. This is the Sega Master System color palette, I think it is. Yeah. Well, that's where I'm up to. Got lots to do. Got to sort out the UI for a start. Got to tweak the level itself, the layout of it. I need to sort out the death shake camera thing. The boss battle can do with some tweaking, some balancing, and yeah, that's it. Then just tidying up the UI, making it pretty, and then I've got sound effects and the final cutscene. But the thing is, I'm really good at doing the cutscenes. Cutscenes for me are quick to do, and I really enjoy doing that. So I'm looking forward to doing the final cutscene. I've got a bit of 3D modeling to do for that, because I haven't actually made the final scene where the bomb is going to be exploded and kill the enemy mothership or whatever. So I've got to do all that, but I'm saving that to last. That's going to be a nice bit of fun, nice break from all the coding and all this Unity work. Yeah, this is this for now, and as soon as I've got some updates, I'll update you. I'll upload the time lapses of the 3D work and stuff like that, just as individual videos. So yeah, stay tuned.